Here is the Prime Minister making a statement on her future.
Ever since I first stepped through the door behind me as Prime Minister, I have striven to make the United Kingdom a country that works not just for a privileged few, but for everyone, and to honour the result of the EU referendum. Back in 2016, we gave the British people a choice. Against all predictions, the British people voted to leave the European Union. I feel as certain today as I did 3 years ago that in a democracy, if you give people a choice, you have a duty to implement what they decide. I have done my best to do that. I negotiated the terms of our exit and a new relationship with our closest neighbours that protects jobs, our security and our union. I have done everything I can to convince MPs to back that deal. Sadly, I have not been able to do so. I tried 3 times. I believe it was right to persevere, even when the odds against success seemed high. But it is now clear to me that it is in the best interests of the country for a new Prime Minister to lead that effort. So I am today announcing that I will resign as leader of the Conservative and Unionist Party on Friday the 7th of June, so that a successor can be chosen. I've agreed with the party chairman and with the chairman of the 1922 committee that the process for electing a new leader should begin in the following week. I have kept Her Majesty the Queen fully informed of my intentions, and I will continue to serve as her Prime Minister until the process has concluded. It is, and will always remain, a matter of deep regret to me that I have not been able to deliver Brexit. It will be for my successor to seek a way forward that honours the result of the referendum. To succeed, he or she will have to find consensus in Parliament where I have not. Such a consensus can only be reached if those on all sides of the debate are willing to compromise. For many years, the great humanitarian Sir Nicholas Winton, who saved the lives of hundreds of children by arranging their evacuation from Nazi-occupied Czechoslovakia through the Kinder transport, was my constituent in Maidenhead. At another time of political controversy, a few years before his death, he took me to one side at a local event and gave me a piece of advice. He said, "Never forget that compromise is not a dirty word. Life depends on compromise." He was right. As we strive to find the compromises we need in our politics, whether to deliver Brexit or to restore devolved government in Northern Ireland, we must remember what brought us here. Because the referendum was not just a call to leave the EU, but for profound change in our country. A call to make the United Kingdom a country that truly works for everyone.
Hello, good morning everybody. My name is Sheikh Jang. I'm a journalist based in Paris. I'm from Senegal, and I come here from time to time to give my opinion on political issues around the world. In Senegal, I talk about Senegal, I talk about France, I talk about Africa, I talk about Spain, I talk about the United States, and today I'm going to talk about the United Kingdom. Okay? Today, Mrs. Theresa May, the Prime Minister of Great Britain, has announced that she will not remain in office by June the 7th. Okay? She has announced this morning that she will resign as the Prime Minister of that country. Theresa May has made a speech. I have watched her speech from the beginning to the end, a very interesting speech. And she says something very interesting. She says this, quote unquote, "I feel certain today, as I did 3 years ago, that in a democracy, if you give people a choice, you have the duty to implement what they decide." Let me repeat the sentence a second time. "I feel certain today, as I did 3 years ago, that in a democracy, if you give people a choice, you have the duty to implement what they decide." I personally believe that the European Union is not implementing what the British people decide. In 2016, there was a referendum in Great Britain. A referendum recognized by the European Union. The British people voted, and we know the outcome of that vote, of that election. 51.9% voted yes. They wanted to leave the EU. Against 48.1% voted no, we want to remain European Union citizens. Who won? Those voted yes have won. And what they want is to leave the EU. It's absolutely not difficult to understand. It's very easy to understand. And the European Union says, no, you will not leave the EU. We will make it very complicated for you to leave the EU. For 2 years, they have been trying to sabotage, they have been trying to hijack, they have been trying to undermine people's will. I've made a paper today on my website, and I've said that by refusing to accept the British people's will, European Union has acted like a dictatorship. Because for me, it is a dictatorship. The British people has said, we want to leave the EU. 51.9%. The British people says, we don't want to remain European Union citizens anymore. This is not difficult to understand. And the European Union, which recognized the referendum of 2016, says, you will not leave the EU. So today I believe that democracy is dying in Europe. I believe that the European Union is not a democracy, because if they don't recognize people's vote in Great Britain, and if they are trying to undermine everything they can to undermine the British people's vote rights, I think this is not democracy anymore. Theresa May has resigned because Theresa May has absolutely nothing to do. She can do anything. She cannot do anything at all. She has nothing to do. Theresa May has not been given the opportunity to do her job as she had to do it. And they have humiliated her. She has been humiliated by the European Union because she finally accepted a deal rejected by many ministers of her government to accept a second referendum against the willingness of the people. Many have resigned. Boris Johnson, Dominic Barr, David Davis, and yesterday or 2 days ago, Andrea Lidson. This is the reality of Europe today. If you don't want what we want, that's what the European people say. The guys in Brussels say that if you are against our willingness, we will prevent you from achieving your goals. The British people have voted and they said we want to leave the EU, and they won. And the British, the guys in Brussels have nothing to do in Brussels. Very rich, very powerful, very arrogant, says we don't want you to go because we don't want you to go. And now they are trying to make everything they can to undermine the people's will and to sabotage an election duly won by the people of Great Britain in 2016. I am not in favor of the Brexit. If I were British, I would vote no. But the people have voted yes, so you have the obligation to accept the people's vote. By recognizing the election and by refusing to recognize the outcome of the election, you guys in Brussels, you act like dictators, and that's exactly what you are. So I wish good luck to Mrs. Theresa May and to the British people, and I hope that everything is going to be okay for them. But what is happening is absolutely stunning, and this is really a great problem of democracy in the European Union in the 21st century. And this should be denounced by all Democrats around the world, and I'm one of them. Thank you very much. Goodbye.